I am back. This is Misha Fayant. I am a woman who just got really sick, got a lot better, and did it getting off of all of my medications and did it with two real food products. So I'm here to talk to you about this thing called insulin resistance and why it's linking into all of our lives. Look, it is causing havoc in our lives in so many ways. Old science, it cracks me up when people write into me and they're like, in a very gentle way sometimes. But when people say like your science is new and old science says, well, yeah, honey, it's new because we're dispelling the old science that got it wrong. So when there's new science coming out proving that the old science is wrong, that's a good thing. And that's helping most of us. So what I'm talking about is weight loss, why you can't lose weight, why you're gaining weight, how we got it wrong, what caused all these problems, and what could be going on with you, because everybody's different. And right off the top, good morning. So right off the top, I want you to understand, like I'm going to keep saying it because every day I hop on, I see this woman, beautiful woman. I know she's in her heart doing, good work, but she's advocating for calorie restriction. And it's not about the calories you take in, it's about the calories you take in. So if you're taking in calories that are converting into energy too quickly in the body, that's going to spike the insulin, and that's the hormones. So hormones are really what's ruling your weight. Okay, so if you are taking in calories, but they're converting to energy less quickly, and it's not driving this array of hormones that have to happen afterward, you're less likely to put weight on. When you actually reduce calories, when you're restricting calories, you're actually down regulating your metabolism. And do you know that once you down regulate your metabolism, so say you think you got to lose 20, 30 pounds. So you're going to like really restrict those calories. You're going to step it back. Your body's metabolism starts to step back its energy needs. Okay. So it's not going to burn as many calories. And then you find a place where you plateau and you're just not burning as many calories or burning as much fat. So you step it back a little further and you keep doing that. At the end, when you finally achieve your goal weight, if you actually don't give up by then, now your metabolism is down regulated, not forever, but for up to 6 years after you've gone through that whole cycle. So now, is there any wonder why people are rebounding back? Because now when they go back to their normal amount of calories, so say you start out at 2,000 calories and you start restricting and you go down to 1,500 calories, your metabolism is going to down regulate down here, right? Then it's going to stabilize out. And yes, I advocate for movement. I'm not saying crazy exercise routines, but I'm saying get off your butt and move. But then, so you say you restrict your calories just a little more because you want the rest of that weight to come off. Well, here goes your metabolism right back down there. Now you've achieved your goal weight and you're like, okay. I should be able to eat 2,000 calories healthily. Your metabolism's still down here. Okay. So now you actually have an excess of calories. What are you going to do now? Are you going to come back down here to 1,200 calories and restrict that even more to get that extra weight off? Oh my gosh. Isn't that a horrible thing to have to live with? And they're understanding now how this whole calories in, calories out thing got wrong. Yes, there's some efficacy to that. We have to use up the energy that we're eating, right? There is some efficacy to that. But there's also some efficacy to the fact that we have this whole array of hormones that are going wrong in our body. And if we don't pay attention to those hormones and how we need to regulate them, we're going to be we're going to have problems. So I don't know how many of you guys have been suffering with your weight, but let me know, because it's amazing, you guys. There's so much information out there, and so much of it is, some of it, like I listened to a doctor this morning. I'm always trying to learn, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to somebody I don't necessarily agree with to see if what they say makes sense. And she was reaching back to the old science where your fat creates your insulin resistance. Well, there's some science there's some science that says that yes, your fat cells start to become like ovaries or in your body, and it can produce other estrogens and hormones and cause more fat gain, right? And then it starts to cause a resistance to insulin. So that's a double-edged sword. But where does the fat come from in the first place? That's what we really want to go back to look at, because now we're saying that it's the excess. She's saying that excess fat is what's causing the insulin resistance, and that's not true. Science is saying that the insulin resistance is coming long before or alongside of the fat gain. So when we have these foods that are triggering us to store energy wherever it may be in our blood vessels, in our muscles, in our tissues, or wherever, then and it starts to get over inundated with that, then it becomes resistant, and that's when it starts storing it in your fat cells and you start to gain weight. But you have to have too much insulin, not just too much energy, but too much insulin in your body for this to happen. So why is it that some people can eat the same foods and not have this happen to them? Good. Okay, so I have a question over here. You work out 5 days a week, but still slow weight loss. So that's, I'm sorry for the auto reply over there. I need to fix that. But what's happening is your body is so insulin resistant, and that's a hormonal thing, right? So what we need to address, instead of like doing more crazy workouts and creating your cortisol going higher and a number of other things that happen, we need to start looking at things like insulin, which also you have these other hormones I'm not as versed on. I'm learning about them now. Leptin and ghrelin, right? Your hunger and satiety hormones. Insulin messes with how those can work in your body. So it's not just the energy or fat storage that insulin does. It's the hunger and satiety you're feeling or not feeling when you have these other hormones out of whack. So one of the things that I talk about a lot, you guys, that I do for myself is I make sure that I get fiber in first before I eat, because that's what's slowing down the delivery of these carbohydrates into the system. Hey, Mama Bear. And that the slower delivery of the energy into your system where it can use it is what makes the difference. So what's happened with our food, whether you're buying raw organic food, whether you're buying boxed food, whether you're buying whatever, is that our foods have been stripped of proteins, enzymes, and fibers. And so now we're having this energy. My son and I were just, because he's very intelligent, but we had this conversation last night, and I'm like, it's not just about that fruits are healthy for you. It's that even our fruits and vegetables have been changed so they have less fiber in them, and for the fruits, more fructose in them. And that's what's part of what's causing the problem. So that fructose, in absence of the fiber that they used to have, is what's going to your liver and causing problems. And then and when your liver starts to get fatty, by the way, insulin resistance gets worse. So if you're gaining weight and you are not getting a fatty liver, you're less likely to have a lot of these problems than if your liver is fatty. And so just a little quick story. My 2 years ago, I moved up to Washington State to help my daughter with my grandkids. One of the first things I noticed was that my granddaughter was continually eating fruit for her meals. She wasn't eating proteins. She wasn't eating, fats. She was just eating fruit. And she was mad at me because she was like, well, I'm eating healthy. And I'm like, honey, that's not healthy. And sure enough, I started paying attention to her. I started seeing the signs of prediabetes. And I'm like, we need to get her in and get her tested. And at 11 years old, because she subsisted primarily on a diet of fruit, she was pre-diabetic. Now, some people can do it and not have that problem, but I think it's dangerous for anybody to say that one specific diet, right? They have hid this information from us. It's insane, Casey. Good morning. But so now she's no longer pre-diabetic. By the way, she does the same system I do, the same system my daughter does, and the same system my grandson does, and my daughter-in-law does. My family is on it now because they've seen the change that's happened for me. And I shouldn't say on it. We utilize this. We're just putting back in what the food industry has stripped out of our foods so that our bodies can start to react more normally. And when I talk bodies, you guys, I'm not just talking about fat in your body. You guys, your brain starts to get insulin resistant as well. 4 months. You had IBS 20 years ago, gone. Yes. So, I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah, there are so many things, you guys, that are linked into insulin resistance. And so what we're dealing with this week is fat, and I'm happy to talk about all the other things. But I just lost my feed over on Facebook and YouTube. But what I want you to understand is, so insulin resistance is causing this fat. Along the way, it's causing a number of other things. But today we want to talk about fat and what's happening. We need some fat, right? Oh, Casey, that's amazing. See, he said when his arthritis and heartburn disappeared, he knew this was the right thing to continue with. Same thing with me. My blood pressure came down. I didn't lose weight for 6 weeks, and then I ended up losing 50 pounds. I have people who lose weight right away. Thank you. So Maria, is your hair, are you talking to me? The system, I have another friend who's on, and I have her success story, and it's crazy good. Uh, but you guys, the weight loss does come. It makes me sad when people say I tried it and it didn't work for me, because they've only tried it for about a month and then they gave up. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, I had a wild hair. Side note, I was watching some TikTok, person say about how this hairstyle looks better on older people, and I'm like, that's me, let's do it. So thank you. I'm glad I'm glad that somebody else likes it. Yeah, so everybody has to give it time, you guys. This is not a one size fits all thing. Everybody is different, and some information that I was gathering this morning, I'm so excited to bring to you guys, because I want to talk about, and I'll do some videos on it today for those who can't be here. And I've talked about it before, but today this scientist actually explained it in a way that really made sense why this was happening for me. But Maria over here says she's lost 47 pounds in 6 weeks, and her transformation is huge. The difference in her body composition is completely different. So when I look at Maria's pictures, she looks like she's lost more than 47 pounds. But what I know is happening with her is she's losing a whole lot of fat, but she's retaining muscle, bone density, ligaments, tendons, all of the good stuff that we need to survive. And those weigh more than fat per volume. So her body composition has changed drastically. And the 47 doesn't look like it matches actually to me. Maria, like, you look amazing, but that body composition change is looks to me like way more than 47 pounds. But it's the composition of her actually being able to put on healthy muscle and tissue. When we're insulin resistant, our body is starving and we can't put on that healthy tissue. So we're starting to have excess fat, but we're having less muscle, less ligaments, less bone, less all of that. And as a woman who is in her, like, I was laying this morning, you guys, it's crazy. I'm excited to turn 60. What? I don't know. I have another 4 months or so, but I'm really excited to turn 60 because I feel better now. And I'm like, I can hit 60 and feel really happy about the state I'm in when I hit different. Her legs, she's saying her legs look so different. I need to get a picture of your legs if you got a before and after of those. But you guys, it makes a big difference. So I'm going to stop real quick and tell you all what we're talking about, because people are like, what is it? How do you do it? All of that. All right. I do a tea, and everyone, Maria, Casey, Janice, have all been doing the same thing. We have a tea in the morning, which is what you see me picking up, drinking all the time. I'm a super hydrator for a lot of reasons. Being hydrated is really good for your metabolism. Okay. So I drink a tea in the morning. It gives me mental clarity and energy. It gives me a lot of physical energy. It helps me burn fat for fuel. I am not hungry. I had my last meal at 5 yesterday. It's only 9 in the morning. I'm trying to shift my eating times, but I'm not hungry yet. And I won't be for a while, because the tea shuts down my hunger and gives me energy without giving me crashes. It gives me a lot of stamina and whatnot as well. So then after I have my tea, when I decide to have my break fast or my first meal, I'll have a packet mixed in water 10 minutes before I eat my meal. Then I'll wait 4 to 6 hours, have my second meal, rinse, repeat, do the same thing 10 minutes before. What this does is it puts back those phytonutrients, the fibers, and vitamins and minerals that have been stripped out by our food system. So now, whatever food I eat on the other side of this acts more like it should have acted in the first place, where the food would have the fiber to slow down the absorption in um, in the body. Yeah. So winning. I do fast 16/8, because the truth is, And you're going to hear people all over saying all kinds of different things. I fast 16/8 because the truth is we don't need to eat all the time. And that's part of our problem. So, one of the scientists I listened to actually on a podcast was saying that he doesn't have scientific study for it yet, but he supposes that we could take the same 2,000 calorie diet and put it in those two meals during an 8-hour time period and actually still see weight loss. Whereas if we spread it out over a 10-hour time period or more, 12-hour time period, which most of us are doing, he would see more of the opposite happen because it's about the hormones, you guys. That's what I was going to talk about this morning. Is it's about the hormones. It's about keeping the insulin levels down. It's about getting the ghrelin and leptin normalized. It's about getting your cortisol normalized, and all of that can happen when you do some fasting. So I love intermittent fasting, but I also love to know that even though I'm intermittent fasting, I utilize this. And by the way, it's been a while. I have not had the mental strength to do it again, but I'm going to probably within the next week or so do an extended fast. I like extended fasts, especially for older women. It helps us get rid of cells that we don't need as well as the fat. So now, does my weight come back after an intermittent fast? Yeah, a good part of it does. But what happens is my skin firms up. There's a reason my skin looks better now at 59 than it did at 55 than it did at 50 because of all of this. And actually, you guys, I've got to bring this up. Maria, I love you so much. This was a picture of me. Let me see if I can reverse this. Just before I started the system. So that was me before. It's not just about the weight loss, my skin clarity, all of that has changed. I always say all of that because I don't want to list a whole laundry list of things, but that's a difference in just 2 years in what I look like. So I'm older now. My glasses, those with glasses were like 3.0 diopter. These are 1.75. So there's a big difference. Intermittent fasting. So the two things that I feel like helped with this are this, that I did some intermittent fasting and that I added the tools into my day. So now what happens with the tools is they're giving me the nourishment that I need so that my body can do what it's meant to do. And that's really the biggest key to this. So when people say, can they do this without intermittent fasting? Yes, you can. Are your results going to be slower? And I'm not talking just about weight loss results. I'm talking about results with your mental clarity, with your arthritis, with all of that stuff. Intermittent fasting just works. I haven't done a series on intermittent fasting for a while. Does anybody want me to do some videos on intermittent fasting? Because I love the stuff. And yeah, I was going to say, when I do, though, I do it a little different. No science behind it, just my brain telling me what makes sense. I will do a 7 to 10 day fast. I will still utilize these tools because they don't spike my insulin. Okay. This is actually helping me with energy. It's helping me burn fat for fuel. So even though after day 2 or 3, my ketones are up in a really good fat burning state, this helps with that. And it also helps keep me feel full while I'm doing that fast. This also does not spike your insulin. And so I like to use it during an extended fast because it's allowing my stomach to still do some work without having all the negative effects. Plus, I feel fuller longer. This just fills up my gut so I don't have acidic gut when I'm fasting. Do I want to do a 10-day fast at some point that's just water? Yes. But right now I really enjoy the nutrients that I get from these 3 things while I'm fasting. And that's all I have, water and this, and that's it when I fast for the 10 days. And I've noticed a lot of really good results for me. My liver is clearing up, my skin is clearing up, so many other things. So I will, Julie, you know what? I've been thinking about it anyway. So I'll do some videos on fasting and the benefits of fasting. I also need to do some videos on the benefits of fats. And you're so welcome about the knowledge winning. Maria said that she's not hungry until 3 to 4 p.m. every day. And that's how I feel generally, unless I've had a super busy day where I'm just using excess energy. So, man, there's so much to talk about this morning. So much. But let's get back to it. The brain. What I wanted to talk to you about with the brain, and this is why things are different for everybody, right? So, two people can do the system and find different results. And that's why it's really important that you give it time and that you are just stay consistent with it. Because if you give up too soon, you don't know that you could have been on that part where you're just having change. Now, a lot of people give up because they're not paying attention to the things that they have more energy, their skin is looking better, their elimination is better, they have more mental clarity, some of their body aches and pains are down, their headaches are down, all of these things are getting better, and so they give up. And this is why one of the reasons I don't spend a lot of time talking about uh, weight loss with the system, because I want people to focus on your overall health. I want you to understand that this system is about getting your health back, and through getting your health back, getting your gut rebalanced, getting this fat off your body, getting your insulin levels down, getting your hormones back to a somewhat of a normal state is what really is going to make the difference. So, Carrie, let's talk about that. I don't know specifically, like, I don't know what you're eating. I don't know how you're doing the system. There's a number of things, but there's also this thing. You guys who have high glucose levels, you're on it a month. That's not a long time. How long were your glucose numbers high before you started the system? So one rule of thumb is they say is that if you've been sick for a year, you need to give it a week. So every year you've been sick, you need to give it a week for the system to start, you really to start seeing those changes. Now, a couple of things happen. When you're on the system and you're starting to release some of this fat, especially the visceral fat, the stuff that's stored in your liver and in and around your organs, you can see a spike in glucose because it's actually releasing that energy into your system. Okay. So that is a phenomenon that can happen. And I think they said about a third of people, a third to half of people. So that glucose can come up. It's just an indication of how much you've had stored in your body. And it's got to go somewhere. So let's think about that. When it releases, it's got to go somewhere. Some is going to, it's going to hit your bloodstream, and then some is going to come out through your sweat. Some is going to come out through your poop. Some even comes out in when you breathe, but it's got to go somewhere for it to get offloaded or off gas, right? So if you've had high glucose levels being stored in your body, when they release, they're going to go back into your bloodstream, and then they're going to be distributed back out. That can happen. There's also this thing called the dawn phenomenon. So sometimes first thing in the morning, my blood glucose is a little bit over 100. And I'm like, what the hell? Because during the day, even after I eat, it's not that high. Well, my cortisol is so out of whack that my cortisol spikes up my blood glucose. Because the dawn phenomenon is this thing where just before you wake up, your cortisol spikes, because your cortisol is that fight or flight hormone, right? So the cortisol is spiking up and it's saying, hey, time to get up. Let's get your heart rate pumping. Let's get energy to your system. Let's get all of this going so you can get up and get moving. So in the first morning hours, some of us, probably at least 50% of us, have this spike in morning glucose because the cortisol is coming out telling us we got to have energy to get up. But it doesn't mean that the system is not working. Check your glucose at different times during the day. Thank you. So that's important, and I would love to work with you on it. This is some of the stuff I talk to my people about, when they're having these problems. I look at your diet, I look at what's going on, because although I say you can eat what you like, the reality is some of us need to titrate back some of the things we're eating, right? Like I love croissants. I haven't been having them. I love muffins. I've been having those, but I know that, I have to make some other adjustments to have that. But there's some reality to this, what we have to do for our genetics. Okay. So, what I was all excited about, is that just have too many messages coming in across all these things I have open. So the brain, when the brain becomes insulin resistant, it's one of the first things that starts causing weight gain. You guys I would love for you to understand that your brain, hi Trista, can become insulin resistant as well. So when the brain gets insulin resistant and those things happen, you're starting to have misfiring of the neurons in the spaces between the little wiring in your brain. It shuts down, and it kind of gets like crusty, and it has misfires there. So now leptin and ghrelin don't work properly. You never feel quite full. Okay, your hunger's never shut down. So you're just continually eating. That's part of this I always have cravings thing, right? Starts in the brain. When all of that's misfiring and the hypothalamus, which regulates all of this weight and where it gets stored and all of that, starts misfiring from insulin, then we start to have this array of body fat go on, and we start to see the visceral fat being stored under the belly and in the liver and all of those places. It kind of redirects. So that's why, you guys, that's why when people say, can I just do this or can I just do this? It's meant to work together. So this is part of why. This works more on the brain. Yes, it shuts down hunger. Guess how? Part of how it's doing that is it's helping regulate those normal hormone uptake in your brain so that you're getting hunger and satiety cues, so that you're feeling better. Your dopamine is working more properly. And now you feel better, you feel less hungry, and that's allowing the insulin resistance in your brain to come down. When the insulin and the resistance in the brain comes down, then the weight starts to come off of the body. So this is not just a, you know what, when they do things like Mounjaro, Ozempic, and I'm going to do a video on that. I have some clips I need to get integrated in, but I want to do a video on that because it makes me really sad when people say, oh, I'm doing Mounjaro and I'm doing really well. And I'm like, you're doing really well right now. Talk to me in about 2 years. Talk to me in about 2 years. And better yet, please don't talk to me in about 2 years. Just get off that stuff now, because they're not addressing all of these things. And what they're actually doing is forcing you to create more of the insulin that's already a problem. One doctor this morning said, oh, it's because you don't get to type 2 diabetes until you have too little insulin to deal with the load. And then that's really backwards thinking. That's so damaging, because it's not that you don't have enough insulin, it's that you have too much for the insulin to do. Okay. So if we are giving insulin too much to do and we're not adjusting our diet, and how many of you guys have a diabetic counselor, if you have diabetic, and they tell you to eat every 2 hours and they have you eat fruits and they have you eat fruit juice? That's wrong. Okay, somebody's asking about where are the packets. I want to show you guys. We're going to stop real quick. I'm going to go to a couple of places you all. Let's show you here. So I have people on Facebook, on YouTube. So let's go here first. Facebook. Well, all right. Facebook. You guys, it's all the same place. It will take you all to the same place. This is my Facebook channel, Vibrant Living with Misha, and right down here towards the bottom, you're going to see these links. The link tree for Coach Misha Fayant, you want to click on that to get to the packets. On, do I not have my YouTube? Oh, that is my YouTube. No, my YouTube looks very much similar. So you're just going to click on that link. That will take you there. And if you're over on TikTok, you're just going to go to my profile, and that will, right under the red lights, you click on that, that will take you to this page. Okay. So right at the top, it says order the system here. That's what you're going to click on to order them. It costs about $5 a day. It's going to take you to this page. Let's do this again. You're going to click on that. The first thing you're going to see is it's going to say referred by Michelle Fayant, and that's important if you want me to help you. Otherwise, I can't help you. I don't know that you're even on the system if you don't use this link. Okay, and I'm an authorized distributor, so you just click on buy now, but you want to make sure it says Michelle Fayant. When you get here, you're going to get 30 of the tea, 60 of the pre-meal drink. You get to choose the tea by the way you're drinking it, and it doesn't taste like an herbal tea, guys. It tastes more like a lemonade, a light lemonade. You're going to choose between lemon or lemon ginger. Lemon ginger has some heat in it, so I just leave it on lemon for your first go around. And then if you like it and you want to try the lemon ginger, do that, but start with the lemon. Then the second option is for the pre-meal drink. That's the fresh lime or the orange. Okay. Fresh lime is a limited time. I would just get that, you guys. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite flavors that we were able to test out last spring. I love the lime. Okay. So do that one, and then you're going to come down to where it asks you one-time purchase or monthly subscription. I want to explain this really quickly because I do care about saving you guys money. So when you do the monthly subscription, you're saving $5 a month off, so it automatically drops that price. But they're also going to give you free shipping. You can cancel it at any time. So now you've got a $15 savings on the system overall, and you can cancel it. Literally, you can order it and then next week say like, I don't know what I did. I'm going to cancel this. But I would hope that you don't. But if they send you an email out 5 days ahead of time, so if you need to change something, if you want to change flavors, if you want to add something, if you want to change the date, you can do all of that. They give you fair warning. I love the company for that. Then the first time you order, if you're on subscription, which you don't get on the regular one-time purchase, you get this free hand mixer. That's their gift to you right now. And I use that every morning when I mix up my tea. That's where you get it. And here's the thing. When you order, I will see it in my back office, in my office part, and then I will start instigating a number of things. You'll get some emails from me that just give you some tips and hints as to how to get started, take your measurements, write down your symptoms, all of the things. A Facebook group, the Facebook group you can join. You'll get texts from me. You'll get a video from me telling you exactly how to take it. You get to call me the day or text me the day that it comes in, and we'll set up a call so I can help you get started while the package is sitting there, and because it gets overwhelming. It gets overwhelming and inundating. That happens to me. So you get all of that when you choose to purchase through that link. I hope that answered it, Janice. All right, so back to the brain. You guys, I have talked for a while about the brain and insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance. It's super important because, like I said, if your brain is insulin resistant, you're going to put weight on everywhere else in your body. When the brain functions are not happening correctly. And also remember, insulin is an energy transporter. It also stores fat. Yes, it's not that this energy is floating around in your system without something directing it where to go. So insulin directs it where to go, and it's going to store it as fat when nothing else will take it up. But when you have a brain injury, it can make you insulin resistant. Do you know that? When I got hit in the head with a shot put in high school, and then I noticed my weight started having problems not shortly after, and I was all of a sudden PCOS and a number of other things that were happening starting back in my early 20s that nobody was able to explain. So remember the whole old science, new science? Well, thank God for new science. Because if all y'all were still living on the science I lived on 30 years ago, we'd be in trouble. But so brain injuries can cause some insulin resistance in a number of different ways. And when the brain is defunct, it's causing fat storage in ways that can be harmful, like in your visceral fat, in your liver, and all of those places that we don't want the fat to be. We all need some fat. I did a video on that. But fat loss is not just about counting calories. So at the top of the show, I was talking about that. So one of the other things is that the excess insulin is what's creating the fat storage. It's not necessarily the excess calories, it's how the calories are transferring into energy in the body, how quickly they turn into energy in the body that's driving the insulin up, that's having the insulin be like so hard. I feel like I see like a WWE wrestler, like, you're going to take this, you're going to take it now. And the cells are like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. So when your cells get like that, then they're considered resistant to the insulin. And then the insulin starts packing that excess energy that the cells are like, not having you. It's taking it to your fat cells. And that's when you put on fat. So are calories important? Yes. But this whole restrict your calories is so damaging. And what I want you to understand, what I explained about a half an hour ago is, look, so say you're at about a 2,000 calorie diet. Now I agree, most of us are eating way more than 2,000 calories. There are a ton of apps out there. When I was powerlifting, the one I used was called Fit Day. It's probably not the most popular one, but I loved using Fit Day when I was tracking my calories every day as an athlete. And by the way, I still ended up insulin resistant doing all this. But it allows you to put foods in, and it tells you about the calorie count of them, and it gives you the macro breakdown, and it does give you some vitamin and mineral breakdown, so you can kind of see. Of course, I geeked out on it, and I made sure that everything I ate went into that, so that my fat and protein ratios were right, and that my carbohydrates were under a certain amount. And then I would go run over and look at the micronutrients and be like, okay, what am I deficient on in my micronutrient areas now? What do I need to fill up? You can do all of that on Fat Trackers or on FitDate if you choose to. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just the app that I found easy to use. I can create my own food. So say I grab a packaged food and I bring it home and I'm like, okay, what's in here? And I type in all those values. Now it's a saved food for me that I can just go to whenever I need it. Protein shakes, all of that stuff. I don't do a lot of protein shakes anymore, by the way. But tracking, if you're having a really hard time understanding what calories you're eating, that's when I agree with that. Like, I don't expect people to sit down and track all their calories all the time. But we don't know what we don't know until we know what we don't know, right? So, if you need that help, do yourself a favor and plug it into FitDay and see what's actually helping for you. If you have a brain like mine, that might help things kick in. Multiple sclerosis. What I can tell you is that through the action of some of this nerve damage that insulin resistance causes, things like, and I catch some heat for this until people actually sit down to talk to me. Things, neurological disorders and nerve firing disorders can find some relief because now we're not adding fuel to the fire. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to cure MS. Can it help with some of the discomfort that comes along with it? Yeah, when your nerves are firing correctly, it sure can. So that's here's the thing. I can't tell you this system is made to help reduce your A1C, your blood glucose, and your triglycerides, effectively reversing insulin resistance. So I can tell you that it will do that if you use it correctly. Okay. Everything else that I talk about is a connect the dots thing. It's my curiosity. Like, what's happening when people have insulin resistance? Why are they suffering from these things? Why have people had things like lupus, um, gastroparesis, a number of things that got better? PCOS, erectile dysfunction. They didn't change anything. They didn't add crazy other things. They just did the system and they got better. One of the ones, psoriasis. I know it's not MS, but I'm just saying these weird things that people start getting better from. And all they did was give it 90 days to see what could happen. So, Geraldine, that's what I would say to you. I can't guarantee you that it's going to help your MS. Does it make sense to me that it could? Yes. Does it also make sense that if you have a 90-day money back guarantee, and this is earnest, okay? If you have a 90-day money back guarantee and you have someone who's going to help you through how to utilize the system, why not give it 90 days of a natural food system that's not hurting your body but helping it to see what can happen? And if it doesn't work for you and you weren't happy with it at the end of 90 days, then we just get you your money back. That's what I can tell you with it, okay? I can't make miracle cure claims. I know it sounds crazy sometimes when I talk about all the things that I feel like that I've seen get better with people, that I've had get better with myself. It seems like I'm making miracle claims, and I'm not. What I really want to do is connect the dots between insulin resistance, and today we're talking about weight gain and all some of the dysfunction that can cause, and helping you understand how getting control of this one primary hormone and the dysfunction it causes in the body can get better. Now, what I'd love to do, Geraldine, is look up some information and see if I can find any actually scholarly studies on links between insulin resistance and MS. Can we do that? And then maybe you'll hop on a live one morning and you can ask me that question again, and I can tell you a little bit better how insulin resistance links to MS. Does that sound fair? Okay. So let me write that one down. You guys, if I don't know, if I haven't heard something, if I can't remember it correctly, I'm not going to tell you, okay? Because I don't want to be that person. I want you to have faith that when you hop in this room, when you hop in with me, that you're getting answers that are real and earnest and not just some smoke. Okay. So, okay. So I got that one written down. Oh, my hair's tickling my nose. You guys, something fierce this morning. Wispy hair today. All right. So what I really started out this thing was is and I want to answer everybody's questions, but I really want you to start shifting into the fact that this whole calorie counting, restrictive calorie is not helping you. I want you to pay attention to the calories that you do eat and make sure they're as nutrient dense as you can get in them. Of course, if you eat 2,000 calories of cake as opposed to 2,000 calories of chicken and rice, that's going to look very differently, right? So it's not just about the calories, and I don't even count calories. I just do this. I'm going to give you my 6 simple tips, okay? And there is an ebook. If you go, I'll show you how to get to my profiles again. But there's a simple ebook that gives you 6 simple tips to start helping you along the way with this whole insulin resistance thing. I'll tell you that in a second. Well, let me answer the 6 simple questions and then I'll answer your question, Carrie. So the 6 simple tips are this: get fiber in first before you eat, every time you eat. Prioritize protein. Fill with healthy fats. Limit your carbs. Do some time-based eating, and move your body. Those are the 6 simple tips. So fiber, protein, fats, limit the carbs, do some time-based eating, fast. That's what we're going to talk about next. And then move your body. So move your body for me is I'm switching my eating time around. So after this, I'm going to have my breakfast. I'm trying to play with having a dawn eating formula instead of an evening eating formula, but I'll still stop eating around 2 o'clock this afternoon and not eat anything else until the next morning. So what do I eat when I take my fast? So when I'm in my fasting period, my 16-hour fast, all I do is drink my tea. This doesn't break your fast. It doesn't spike your insulin. It actually helps push you a little bit further along the path into the fast by helping you with your own ketones, not exogenous, but your own ketone production in your body, with prebiotics, with a number of other things happening in your body. I'll go over this product in detail this afternoon when I come on at 3. But that's it. So in the morning, right now, I'm having the tea, and that's it. And then when I'm done with this, I will have my fiber or my pre-meal packet. So there's fiber, vitamins, minerals, and phytosterols in here, plant substances. I'll drink this, and while I'm cooking my breakfast, I will wait that 10 minutes, and then I'll eat. After breakfast, I'm going to go take a walk out in nature. Then I'll come back and do the rest of my work for the day. Okay. So that fulfills almost all of that. Still, okay. So Carrie, yeah, the high blood sugar, didn't I explain that earlier? So there's a couple of things that can happen. Even if you don't have a lot of weight, is that in kilos or is that in pounds? And even if you're not carrying a lot of weight, you can have fat stored in and around your liver and your other organs. Okay. And there's also the dawn phenomena and pounds. Wow, that's low. So I would be interested to see what you eat in a day. And if, there might be some other adjustments that you need to make to help those blood sugars come down. If you're drinking a lot of fruit juices or sugary drinks, that can cause a problem. And people always think of fruit juices as healthy, and they're not. They're straight fructose to your liver. So we want to stop the fruit juice if that's one of the things you do. And I would have to have a conversation with you to kind of ferret out what's happening. Because again, everybody is different. And the dawn phenomenon can, you only have water and black coffee during any time of the day. So, yeah, there's probably something else going on. And at that point, if I would give it the full 90 days, what do your meals look like? And when do you take them in? Are you fasting for 16 hours? And when are you taking your blood sugars? Those are all questions I would need to know. Now, I want to stop right there and caution. I am not a physician. I am not a nutritionist. I am a woman who got really sick, got better, started on this journey of figuring out why so I could help others. So when I talk about what I would need to know, I'm talking about what my mind would need to process through to understand why this is happening with a person on the system. In no way am I ever trying to diagnose someone. Okay. So, yeah, send me a message, Carrie, and let's see if we can work it out. Okay. And by the way, and if have you reached out to your coach? I don't recognize your name, so I don't think you're in my back office. Have you reached out to your coach to see? You guys, here's the other thing. I haven't talked about this for a while either. Carrie not saying this is what's happening with you, but I've seen it happen with a number of people. When you go to Amazon, eBay, Walmart, any of those places, and you're not using an authorized distributor's link to purchase, you're getting product that could be expired, that could be, and we found pirated product because the people who are going to pirate stuff pirate everything. And you're not getting any of the guarantees, you're not getting any of the coaching and help. So, and you end up paying about $100 a month more to buy it on Amazon, eBay, or Walmart. So there are no authorized sellers on any of those spaces. So make sure you're buying it from someone who can actually help you through the process. Okay. So I'm still willing to talk to you and help you, and just use my links. You guys, let's go back over that real quick. I'll go over all of the platforms where you can find me, where you can find all of the information. So if you're on TikTok, you're going to just click on the top, the picture up above, and that will bring up another box. Click on that. That'll get you to my profile. You're going to see the red lights with the link under it. You want to click on that. If you're on YouTube, you're going to see either a QR code or you're going to see this website down here. You can click on that to get to how to purchase. And then if you're on Facebook, it's going to be very similar. It's going to have down here on the side of my page, it's going to have these links for you to get to. Either way, you should end up at this page. Okay. When you're here, I've opened it up because I had some people asking about some other products like CoQ10, Omega Life 3 Resolve that I take in addition to because of my heart and my ADD, as well as the Bone Fortify because I'm a menopausal woman and I want to make sure my bones are strong and I'm getting enough sleep. But down here towards the bottom, you'll see it says contact me. Use that to contact me and send me a message. Tell me who you were and what's going on, and I will talk through it with you. Okay, does that sound fair? But you guys, that's everything you need to know there. Also, like the links to our products in the PDR are here. And then I do have this. I haven't talked about it for a while. I don't have a gallbladder, and that's causing me some issues right now. But I do some ketone testing almost every morning just to make sure that my ketones are staying in the morning at a level that I like to see them, meaning I didn't eat too damn much sugar the day before. And this watch that I wear that helps me understand where my blood pressure is trending and all of that. Plus, then there's the bile salts and the digestive enzymes that I do add in because I have no gallbladder. Dr. Bickman's book, Why We Get Sick, which is my go-to, is here as well. So check out all of that stuff, you guys. But you can find it all. It starts right there by just clicking on the link in any one of my profiles, and you can get to all the information, including how to get a hold of me. So, and I do answer questions all day, every day. I did have a foo bar the other night. Somebody asked me a question. I was like, well, let's set up a time to talk. It was at the end of my day. I didn't send a message saying, hey, I'm going to bed. She answered me like an hour and a half later, and I didn't see it because I got up and running, and she was a little upset. So understand that I do have a really busy life, and sometimes I might not see the message right away, but message me. I will get back to you. I try to make sure that everyone who's messaged me hears from me. So that's important. Okay. I think, you guys, it's almost time for me to go grab my breakfast and get ready to make some content for you guys that hopefully is meaningful, that hopefully helps give you guys some answers and helps you along this journey. I will be back at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'm striving to make this 8:30, 3 p.m. thing my gig now for as long as I can. So I look forward to seeing you then. And thanks for spending your morning with me. Winning, thank you for all the positive comments. I really appreciate that. Carrie, I hope to help you out. And let's just have a great day, everybody. I'll see you later.